Today's episode of Chicago Bears Now is presented by Manscaped. Go get the Ultra Premium Collection at manscaped.com with promo code BEARS20. That'll get you 20% off plus free shipping. All of their men's grooming products, including those within the Ultra Premium Collection, which we'll tell you about later on in the show. Go check them out, manscaped.com, promo code BEARS20. All right, let's get into today's Bears Rumors Roundup. Dick Butkus, did he rip Matt Nagy? Damn right he did. 4 smoking Jays on this one. The legendary Dick Butkus absolutely went nuclear on the former Chicago Bears head coach. He hopped on NBC Sports Chicago's podcast Under Center and had this to say. Last year, it was atrocious. A friend of mine, this, by the way, is talking about Nagy and Fields. A friend of mine from another team told me, quote, Justin Fields is the answer at quarterback. The only problem is they never coached him from the day he stepped on the field at training camp to the last game. They never coached him up. I think that's a tragedy, and I'm glad they got some new people in there. Maybe they'll start teaching the kids something and take advantage of his abilities. The more you hear about how things went down with Matt Nagy specifically, Ryan Pace a little, but mostly Nagy, the worse it gets. I mean, it is just a bloodbath for the former Bears head coach. I mean, you guys probably read the write-up from The Athletic of just Nagy ghosting Mitchell Trubisky. Apparently he did the same with Allen Robinson when he had a meeting set up with him. Like, just the more you hear about Nagy and how he handled things, the worse it gets. And, you know, I wish him the best and all that, but golly, I mean, the guy didn't help himself out, did he? Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace, they blew it, man. They blew it with Justin Fields. They got it right when they drafted him. They didn't even have to give up too much to move up for him. Sure, an extra first, that's not a ton when you're going up almost 10 spots to get a quarterback. But the minute they did that, they should have made him the priority. The priority of last year should have been developing this kid, letting him learn. Instead, they went through the entire offseason as if Andy Dalton was going to be the starting quarterback. That was a mistake. They should have built this thing around Fields, let him learn, let him make mistakes, and instead he gets thrown in there in game 2 when Dalton gets hurt, and it all falls apart. And then you hear he's not getting coached up properly. We know Nagy's a, fit my scheme guy. I like guys like Andy Dalton who are statues and sit in the pocket and, deliver the football. I mean, it's just, it's all very disappointing. But you know what? This is just how it goes, right? When a coach gets fired, you hear these things and you're like, well, there's a reason he got fired, because he just wasn't very good at his job. Now the question is he a complete and utter fraud? I think there's pretty good evidence that he is. If you think Matt Nagy is a fraud, type F, type it more than once down in the comments. I'm expecting to see hundreds of Fs down in the comment section of today's video. So if you think Matt Nagy is a fraud, well, just simply type F. Let's get to our next story here on today's episode of Chicago Bears Now. Khalil Herbert defends Justin Fields. This did happen. 4 smoking Jays on this one as well. Bear down. It's absolutely a fact. Khalil Herbert was hanging out in Los Angeles for Super Bowl week. Hopped around, bounced around Radio Road, and here's what he had to say. Quote, he is that guy, talking about Justin Fields. He is definitely that guy. Just working with him every day from minicamp and beyond, you see how much he's grown, how much he's learned, and how much confidence he has. He's continuing to make strides. Each game he learned and had something new to take from each game. Next year will be a big difference for him. Whereas you continue to hear stuff about how people didn't like Matt Nagy and how he just did a lot of things that made no sense, you also hear things like this. You hear players talking highly about Justin Fields. You hear, resources saying that Justin Fields is that guy in Chicago. His teammates clearly like him. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think he's come in there and he's been a likable guy. And, Fields saying after this year, now that he's the starting quarterback heading into next season, he will be able to take more of that vocal leadership role, whereas last year he was kind of stuck because, Andy Dalton was there. He was named the starter, and Nagy kept saying he was the starter, so he's like, not really my place to take reign of this team. Now he can do that, and guys like Khalil Herbert believe in him. Darnell Mooney is certainly a big supporter of Fields. You heard after the season that those two guys were going down to train in Florida and in Georgia. You hear more stories about how Fields is going to have a bunch of his teammates come down in the offseason and train. It's exciting. It's really, really exciting. You get this new regime in there, get out with the old, in with the new. I'm excited to see how this all comes together in Chicago. Now, the 2021 season is over, which means Bears rumors, they're heating up. They're on fire. So subscribe, free daily videos here on this channel. We will continue to keep you guys up to date with the latest Bears news, rumors, updates, free agency, draft, mock drafts, live Q&As. We do it all here at Bears Now. YouTube.com/Bears Now. Subscribe. It's 100% free. Let's continue to grow this channel. Now, certainly Justin Fields, had some growing pains last year, which is why it's idiotic that Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace didn't commit to this kid, because they should have put him in the best chance to succeed and allow him to make more mistakes. Instead, they gave him no reps in the offseason. But Khalil Herbert and these guys, they've seen something out of Fields. They've seen him in practice. They've seen him grow throughout the year, and I thought he played better the more he got to play. I fully believe Justin Fields will make strides in year 2. Now, I'm not saying he's going to go from well below average statistical numbers to a top 10 NFL quarterback, but I think you'll see this year it's like, okay, this is why the Bears traded up and drafted him. This is why he was a sought-after quarterback in the 2021 draft. This is the guy that outdueled Trevor Lawrence by a pretty wide margin in the college football playoff just last year. So I think he's going to have a big offseason. I think he knows it's a big offseason with the new staff in here, because if he, for a better term, shits the bed, for lack of a better term, this year, then the Bears might be thinking, well, maybe he's not the guy. We didn't draft this guy, this regime. So big year for him. I think he's going to make strides here in his second season. Do you believe in Justin Fields? Type B for believe, type D for don't. I certainly do. Cast your votes on this one down in the comments section. Now, something I definitely believe in is Manscaped and their men's grooming products. I've been using their products, including the Lawnmower 4.0, for years now to shave my balls, keep things clean. But what's awesome is they continue to unveil new products, including the Ultra Premium Collection, which includes several products, 5 to be exact, including the body wash and the shampoo and conditioner 2-for-1 combination here. You guys saw the price. Down only to $39.99 when you use our promo code of Bears20 to get 20% off at Manscaped.com. These products are great. The body wash, the shampoo and conditioner combination, keeping me clean, smelling fresh when I head to work. They also have body spray and some other products that come with it. Usually it's $50. Right now it's $40 when you use our promo code of Bears20. It's a great deal. Get going with Manscaped, and hey, if you have a friend that, he's kind of stinky, suggest these products to him, because you don't want to be that guy that shows up to a Valentine's dinner last night and you get ghosted for date number 2 because, maybe you didn't stay nice and clean with Manscaped. Check out the comments, the description, manscaped.com, promo code Bears20. Okay, let's keep it moving here on today's Bears Rumors Roundup. Draft Chris Olave with the number 39 overall pick. I'm just going to go one smoking J. There's been a few NFL mock drafts recently that have suggested that this is possible. NFL.com's Chad Reuter and his 3-round mock draft has Olave falling to number 39. I find this hard to believe. Most draft boards have him as a round 1 guy. Most mock drafts have him in the 20s. I kind of think that's where he'll be. Now, there's a lot of receivers, and maybe, someone's going to fall, right? Maybe Olave's that guy. I'm not sure. I'll tell you this. If Chris Olave falls, reuniting him with Fields would be absolutely fantastic. Now, Dave Kluge, who also runs a fantasy football, works for a fantasy football website, had this to say as well. The Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase connection translated well into the NFL. I hope the Bears take notice and draft Chris Olave for Justin Fields. Their first pick is in the early second round, again, number 39, and Olave should be there. I actually think he should not be there. Could he be there? Yes. Like, if the tweet said he could be there, yeah, it's possible. There's a scenario where Olave drops into the second round and is there at 39. I think it's way more likely he goes top 25, though, than he's there at 39. Now, we'll see how the Combine plays out in a couple weeks, pro days, how these other receivers stack up as well. Again, when there's a high volume of receivers, someone's going to dip, and considering Olave's teammate Garrett Wilson is a high prospect, if you will, maybe he's one that falls. Now, again, this guy's a tremendous player. I mean, him and Justin Fields had great chemistry in his 4 years at Ohio State, 2,700 yards, 35 touchdowns. I mean, he was an absolute touchdown machine during his time in Columbus. And, hey, I'd be down to team these guys back up. I mean, are you kidding me? Have these guys throwing touchdowns to one another? I guess Fields mostly to Olave. Who knows? Maybe a trick play the other way around. But these guys teaming up in the end zone in Chicago, I'm in. I'm just not convinced he's there at 39. I would love to see it happen. I don't want to be negative Nancy and be like, there's, this is just fake news. There's no chance. There's a chance, but I'm also not going to get up here on my pedestal. Yeah, Chris Olave, 100% chance he's sitting there at 39. No, I think it's 20, 25, 30% chance he's sitting there. And if he is, you should draft him. I really do believe that, which is why one Smoking Jay, it's possible. I don't think it's very likely, but that could change over the next couple of months. Would you trade into the first round to draft Chris Olave? Because I think that's way more likely of where he'll end up being. Now, not a lot of draft capital, so consider your options here. Maybe you have to trade a player. Type T for trade, type P for pass. Would you trade into the first round for Chris Olave?